I welcome you all to this class of metrology. So last class we were talking about vernier caliper and we solved some numericals on how to read how to take reading with the help of vernier caliper. So some more questions we will take like this one. Let's see this question. The main scale in a vernier instrument is graduated in millimeter. Okay, there are two scales in vernier caliper. One is main scale and another one is vernier scale. So main scale has millimeter as the least count. Okay, with the smallest division 1 millimeter. So obviously main scale division is 1 mm. 10 divisions on the vernier scale corresponds to 11 division on the main scale. So answer the following. So here what is written that there is a this is the main scale. So 10 divisions on the vernier scale corresponds to 11 divisions on the main scale. So on the main scale there are 11 divisions. And on the vernier scale there are only 10 divisions. Okay. On the vernier scale there are only 10 divisions. Okay. So there are total 10, 0, 5, 10, and this is 11, right? This is 5, 10, and this one is 11. So this is main scale and this is vernier scale. So now first of all the question is that is the vernier scale a forward vernier or backward vernier? So the question is that earlier whatever examples we have seen they were of they're like 9 9 main scale division were equal to 10 vernier scale division in earlier questions, but in this question there are total 11 main scale divisions and that is equal to 10 vernier scale division. That means look at here that 9 main scale division is equal to 10 vernier scale. So 9 main scale division means how much? 9 mm is equal to 10 vernier scale division. So 1 vernier scale division will become 0.9 mm, right? So look at here, just see this one. So if 9 main scale division is equal to 10 vernier scale division, right? So 9 main scale division, 1 main scale division is equal to 1 mm. So 9 mm is equal to 10 vernier scale division. So 1 vernier scale division is equal to 0.9 mm, right? So main scale division is 1 mm, 1 vernier scale division is zero point 0.9 mm. So obviously main scale division is greater than vernier scale division and least count will be main scale division minus vernier scale division. Clear? But in this case, in the second case, you look at here, there are 11 main scale division that is equal to 10 scale division. That means 11 mm is equal to 10 vernier scale division, right? So 1 vernier scale division will be 1.1 mm. So look at here, main scale division is 1 mm, vernier scale division is 1.1 mm. So obviously vernier scale division is greater than main scale division. And in this case, least count will be equal to vernier scale division minus main scale division. Clear? So this is known as forward vernier and this is backward vernier. Clear? So there is no difference in between forward and backward. Only difference is about this one, this two. Okay. So there is nothing to worry about. If the question is like this one, then simply you have to find out least count is equal to vernier scale division minus, and that will be equal to 0 point uh, how much. Vernier scale division is 1.1 mm minus main scale division is 1 mm, which will give you 0.1 mm. Here if you list count, if you find what is main scale division 1 mm minus vernier scale division 0.9 mm, that will give you 0.1 mm. So in both the cases, the list count has come as 0.1 mm. So what is the least count of the instrument? So we have got this, and it is a backward one here. Clear? Now, if the main scale reads 12 mm, right? So now reading, we are going to find what is the reading. So reading is equal to main scale reading plus vernier scale reading into least count. So main scale reading is 12 mm plus 10th division on the vernier scale coincides with a division on the main scale. So 10th on the vernier. So vernier scale division, vernier scale reading is 10 into least count is 0.1 mm. This will give you 13 mm. So this is the answer. Clear? So either it comes a forward vernier or backward vernier. There is nothing to worry about. Okay, now we'll talk about zero error. So last class, um, we could not talk about this one. So look, what happens that as I have told that when the measurement is started, so first of all, in during measurement, first of all we check that the zero of the main scale, this is the main scale and this is the vernier scale. So zero of the main scale should coincide with zero of the vernier scale. If it is not coinciding, then there is a error, and that is known as zero error. And if with this error, if we are measuring, then obviously the reading will be faulty. So we have to compensate this zero error. So how to do that? So first of all, find out the zero error. After that, you compensate in the reading. So first of all, in this example number 1, in this example, let us see what is the zero error. So this the upper pictures in all the examples, this is example number 2 and example number 3. So in first example, what is the zero error? So there are two types of zero error. One is positive and one is negative. So how to find out, how to see that which is positive and which is negative? So if the main scale is, you know uh, is in the right side of the main scale, 0 is at the right side of the vernier scale 0, then it is known as negative error, right? Look at here, this 0 should be this side, then only there should be positive values, right? While taking reading, what we check that the 0 of the vernier scale, where it is coming on this scale, right? Then only if it is coming here, that means we say that this is 1 mm. If it is coming this point, this 0 is coming this point, at this point, then we consider as 1 and 2, there are 2 mm. So like that. But it is, you look at here, the 0 is left to the main scale, so it is a negative error, negative 0 error. In this case, look at here, this 0, vernier scale 0, is on the right side of main scale 0, so that's why it is positive error, positive 0 error. Similarly here it is a negative 0 error. So in this case, as it is a negative 0 error, so 0 error can be calculated as 0 minus 0.7 mm, which is 0.3 mm, negative of 0.3 mm. and the correct reading, or you can say the corrected reading, that is equal to uh, the reading which has been uh, obtained. So obtained reading minus 0 error. So look at here, the obtained reading from here. If we see this 0 is lying just right to the 0, that means the main scale reading is 0. Vernier scale reading is how much? 6. So obviously 0.6 mm minus. What is 0 error? So 0 error is negative of 0.3. So negative, negative, positive, that will give you 0.9 mm. That is the correct reading. In this case, we have a positive 0 error. So 0 error can be written as 0 plus whatever is there. That's how much? So look at here, which one is coinciding? Oh, this one is coinciding 3. So this is directly written as 0.3 mm. So in this case, the correct reading will be obtained reading, that is here after 1 it is, so obviously uh, this will be 10 mm main scale reading plus vernier scale reading how much? 6, 0.6 minus 0.3, which will give you 10.3 mm. Clear? In this case, 0 error is positive or negative? Obviously it is negative, because this one is left side to this one. So 0 minus 0 minus, which one is coinciding? 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth one is coinciding of vernier scale. So we can write minus 0.6 mm. And what is the correct reading? That will be equal to obtained reading minus 0 error. So what is obtained reading? So obtained reading, we have to find out first of all main scale reading. So where is the main scale? This one is the main scale reading. So what is this point? This is 7. This is 6.5. This is 6.4. 6.4 mm plus how much? This is 1, 2, 3. Third one, that means 0.3 minus 0.6 mm. So this will give us how much? So this will give you this is 6.7 minus 0.6 mm. That is 5 point, sorry, 6.1 mm. 6.1 mm. Clear? So this is the correct reading. Understood? Okay, so now we'll talk about the two different, apart from vernier caliper, we have other vernier scales. One is vernier depth gauge and another one is vernier height gauge. So from the picture, can we recognize which is a vernier depth gauge, which is used to measure the uh, depth of the any instrument, and vernier height gauge, which is used to measure the height of the uh, any object. So can we tell from the picture itself that which is a vernier depth gauge and which is a vernier height gauge? So obviously, if we can recognize this is a vernier depth gauge because this is the base. Look at here, the base is there and a scale is below the base. Clear? So this is used to measure the depth of any object because the base will be rested over the surface, or you can say the edge of the any object whose depth is to be measured, right? So that is how. So if the scales are lying below the base, then it will be a vernier depth gauge, and if the scale is lying above the base, then it is known as height gauge. So here the object will be kept and its height can be measured with the help of vernier height gauge. So some of the points which we need to remember uh, while using the vernier depth gauge. First point which I told, that there is a base, okay, and that is fixed, or you can say uh, placed firmly against the upper surface of the hole, against the upper surface of the hole. So then, and the main scale is lowered down into the recess. So in this case, we look at here, this is the frame, okay. So main scale can slide, but vernier scale is fixed. Vernier scale is fixed on the frame, but main scale can move up and down. Clear? That is a one point which we have to remember. Okay, and here we require fine adjustment clamp. Why? Because we don't want that this scale should be pressurized uh, to the bottom of the surface where we are measuring the depth, because what will happen, that there is a chance of wear and tear of this scale, so that's why we don't want that. So there is a fine adjustment clamp which is which is used to lower the scale, main scale, uh, with very small increment. Okay, so it is not as soon as it will touch the surface of the job, then automatically you can stop there. Otherwise, there if there is a very hard, you can say, contact between the scale and the bottom of the uh, surface, or you can say bottom of the hole, then there is a chance of breakage in the main scale. Its accuracy is up to 0.01 mm. So vernier calipers also we have seen that they have zero point 0.1 mm, 0.02 mm, 0.05 mm. Okay, so here we can go for 0.01 mm. So this is how it can be measured. Okay, vernier height gauge. There are some points which we have to remember. First point is about the base, and the object will be placed over the base. The main scale is fixed, and which will slide now. In this case, the vernier scale will move up and down. In the vernier depth gauge, what was happening? The vernier scale was fixed on the frame, and main scale used to slide up and down. In this case, the main scale is fixed, and the frame with vernier scale both will slide on the main scale. Okay, it will also give an accuracy of 0.01 mm, and rest everything is okay. So this is one example. It's a digital vernier height gauge. So look at here. This is the probe. So which will be touching the upper part of the object, and it can measure the height of the object. Okay. So now we will be talking about the micrometers. Micrometer is also known as a screw gauge. It is also known as screw gauge. So please remember it. In case in the examination, if a screw gauge is named, please consider it as micrometer. Micrometer, you know what is micrometer. So the term micrometer itself has two meanings. Micrometer is even 10 to the power minus 6 meter. That is also known as micrometer. Millimeter, micrometer, and micro means a small also. So very a small dimension can be measured with the help of micrometer. So there are two terms, two meanings of this term, and it has been found that the one micrometer is more accurate than a vernier caliper. It is having better least count and better accuracy than a vernier caliper. Now, why this accuracy is better than vernier caliper. Even vernier caliper also can measure 0.01 mm, and micrometer also can measure 0.01 mm. But they have micrometer is having more accuracy than vernier caliper. This is because there is a principle known as Abbe's principle. So according to this, what is told that look at here in this diagram, and this is a vernier caliper and this is a micrometer. Okay, so in the vernier caliper, this is the axis of the instrument. Okay, this is the axis of the instrument because it is the main scale, right? And here is the object placed. So this is the axis of the uh, object. So this is line of measurement and this is axis of the instrument. Line of measurement and axis of, so both are not aligned together. But in this case, you look at here. This is the object. So this is the axis of axis of instrument also, and this is the line of measurement also. Both are coinciding. So Abbe's principle says that maximum accuracy may be obtained only when the standard is in line with the axis of the part being measured. Okay, so the standard is in line with, right? So the axis of instrument is in line with the axis of the part being. So then we get the maximum accuracy. Why it happens like that? That why the accuracy in this case is minimum, that is less, and in this case it is more. So that is because of the, see, when you are measuring, first of all, it has to be perfectly horizontal axis of the instrument. It has to be perfectly horizontal, and this calipers, the jaws, one fixed jaw and movable jaw, they have to be very perpendicular to this axis, perfectly perpendicular. There should not be any kind of deviation. If there is any kind of deviation, this x will come, and due to this there is there will be an error. And it has been observed that it is rarely happens that uh, this jaws will be perfectly perpendicular to the axis of instrument. So better is to keep it in line with the axis of instrument. So that is better. So that is how that is why the measurement will have error. And this value of x, that is the deviation, means obviously this will be little bit tilted, right? And when it is tilted, so as the h will rise, the tilting will rise, clear, the deviation will be rising, clear. So it depends upon the h. So how far the line of measurement is from the axis of instrument will tell you that how much error it can give. So that's why line of measurement and axis of instrument must coincide if you want the most accurate dimensioning or most accurate measurement. So that happens in case of micrometer. So question may be asked that what is Abbe's principle? Okay, two marks question. Explain it. So then you have to explain it through two examples. One is micrometer and one is vernier caliper, and there you can explain that as we can see that line of measurement and axis of instruments are coinciding, so there will not be any error in the measurement. That means obviously error will be there, but the error will be less. That means maximum accuracy we can get, but in this case there will be more error while measuring because of the there is shift of the axis of the instrument and line of measurement. So why it happens? Because of the because they are not perfectly perpendicular. What? So the jaws of the vernier caliper and the axis of the instrument both may, it's very rare to make them perfectly perpendicular to each other. Okay. So the degree to which an instrument conforms to Abbe's law determines its inherent accuracy. So whichever is following more Abbe's laws, that will be more accurate. The instrument which is following this one. So if there are two vernier calipers, okay, this is the main scale, and here is the jaw, right? This is the jaw, Just consider it. This is the jaw, okay, and here is the object, and one more vernier scale is there. This is the vernier scale, and it is having this jaw. Now it is asked that this is the distance h1, and this is distance h2. Now the question may be asked that if okay, h1 is greater than h2, so please tell me which one is more accurate. So obviously this will be more accurate. The point is only that both are the angle is constant, okay, whatever angle it is, maybe 89 degree, and this is also 89 degree. So obviously the shift will be more in this case, and less in this case. So that's why this is considered as, the second one will be considered as more accurate. Clear or not? So like that we have to understand. So which instrument will follow or conforms to Abel's law more, that will be more accurate. Okay, so now there are many types of micrometer, one outside micrometer, inside micrometer. So we'll talk about outside micrometer. So outside micrometer will have the construction. If we see that it will have a C-clamp, C-shaped frame, okay, with having anvil and a spindle. There is anvil and this is a spindle. Anvil is a fixed one, and a spindle is movable one. Clear? So C frame, anvil, a spindle. And now this spindle is moved with the help of a screw. Okay, ground, precision ground screw, right? Means the screw will be having a very high precision. What, how much it will move forward, that is very precise. There will be one barrel. This is known as barrel. It is also known as sleeve. So please remember the two terms will be used, barrel or sleeve. And on the barrel there is a thimble. Clear? So thimble will be there. So please remember, barrel, on barrel it will be main scale, and on the thimble there will be uh, a circular scale. Okay. So the zero mark on this circular scale will be coinciding with the zero division on the sleeve when the anvil and spindle faces are brought together. So when these two are touching each other, what will happen? That this face, okay, this will come here, coinciding with the zero, and this zero will be coinciding with this line. Clear or not? So this is how we start measuring. And once we confirm that both are coinciding, that means this vertical line of the thimble, that will coincide with the zero of the main scale, and this zero of the thimble will coincide with the axis of the main scale. In that case, we consider that it is zero position. And once this is confirmed, after that we place the object inside in between the anvil and a spindle, and we do the measurement. Okay. Now we rotate the thimble and we move, but at the end when we approach very near to the contact, then we start rotating the ratchet, and this ratchet actually gives us the feel, okay, that now there is like there is perfect contact between the object surface and the spindle, and we stop rotating the ratchet. So this prevents the application of excessive force on the jaw, because obviously we know that these surfaces will erode if we apply excessive force, then it will erode. And you will see on the this C frame, you will be seeing 0 to 25, 0.01 mm. This kind of term will be written. 0 to 25 tells that it is the range of the micrometer, and this tells about the least count of the micrometer. So let us move to talk about the least count of the micrometer. First of all, see here the material is given. It is sometimes made up of steel or cast steel, and some kind of hardening is done. This anvil faces and spindle faces are hardened, तो आप टंगस्टन कार्बाइड का यूज कर सकते हो, टंगस्टन कार्बाइड. ओके, so this tungsten carbide is very very hard material. आप लोगों ने थर्ड सेमेस्टर में पढ़ा होगा. You have studied about the tool materials, okay, cutting tool materials. So there you have studied about the tungsten carbide. So tungsten carbide is very hard material and it resists any wear and tear. So that's why the anvil faces and the spindle faces are coated with tungsten carbide. Now list count of micrometer. So if the smallest division on this scale reads 0.5, each revolution of the thimble advances the spindle face by 0.5. What is the meaning of this? So the point is here, look at this one. So the main scale, this is the main scale. On the main scale, the least count of the main scale is 0.5. If it is 0.5, sometimes it is 0.1, sometimes sometimes it is 1 mm, sometimes it is 0.5 mm. Okay, so that is the least count of main scale. Look at here, this is the main scale. See, this is 5 mm, this is 1 mm, this is 1 mm, and what is this one? This is telling about, this is just middle to this one. So rather than placing the bar here, the bar is placed just below it. So this gives much more clarity while taking the reading, and that's why it is placed at the bottom, at the below the baseline. So the distance is, the least count is this much, and that is 0.5 mm. Clear? So the least count of the main scale is 0.5 mm. And this thimble, when it takes complete rotation, then what happens that uh, there is a this thimble will proceed, or you can say it will advance forward by 0.5 mm. So in one complete rotation it will move to 0.5 mm. Again another complete rotation it will do, then it will move more 0.5 mm. So in one complete rotation it is moving 0.5 mm, and if there are 50 divisions on it, so what is the least count of this micrometer? So 0.5 divided by 50, that will give you 0.01 mm. In case there are 100 markings on this, or 100 divisions on the circular scale, in that case what will happen? Uh, there will be 0.5 divided by 100, that is 0.02. Sorry, actually there is some problem in my mouth, so that's why the voice is little bit flickering. So I'm very very sorry for that. So that is how we can calculate the least count of the micrometer. Okay. Now how do we take the reading? So look at here. We know that so first of all, main scale reading. So on the main scale, how much is the reading total? This is 5 mm, this is 6 mm, 7 mm, this is 8 mm, and what is this? 8.5 mm. So 8.5 mm main scale plus least count we know. So this is 15 and it has proceeded to, this is 20, right? This big length is 20. Although the 20 is written here, but this is not the 20, rather this one is 20. Okay, sometimes there will nothing be written, not 20, 25, nothing will be written. You have to understand. So that's why you have to remember. Okay, so first of all, look at here, it is written. So this is 20, 21, 22. So 22 into, what is the least count of this instrument? Total 50 divisions are there on it. It's not mentioned, but this is an example of 50 divisions. Okay, so 0.01 mm. So total is 8.5 plus 0.22 mm, which will give you 8.72 mm. Okay, so this is how we can. It's very easy in case of micrometer to take the reading. It is very very easy, and but you have to take care that in which direction it is rotating, because sometimes these markings will not be there, 15, 25, 20, only 0 will be there. So you have to remember in which side you have rotated, otherwise you will be confused. Okay. Let's suppose this is rotated in this direction, as you can see, right? 0 is this side, so when you are rotating, then 50 will come. So as soon as 50 will come here, that means again the 0 will come here. That time what will happen? This bar is there, so another bar here that will start appearing. Clear or not? Next again 0 will come, so the next bar will start appearing. So how we are rotating? We are rotating towards ourselves, that means towards the observer. So observer is this side and we are rotating in this direction, so that we have to remember. Clear? Then only we can find out that okay, this is 0, this is 20, 25, like that. Otherwise what will happen? From that side we will start counting, and in that case you will do mistake. Okay, from that side what will be this line? What will be this line from that side? From like 50, so this is 25. Okay, 26, 27, 28, because 20 and 15 are not region, so we can, we will be, we may mistake by counting from that side, and it will be 28, 26, 27, 28. Okay, so in that case you will write 28 and you will do mistake. Okay, so from this side it is 22, from that side it is 28 number. So that is written that the thimble must be read in the correct direction. That while taking the reading we have to take care of this one. And if it is written, then there is no issue. If all the values are written, like you look at here 0, 5, 5, all these things are written, okay, then there is no issue. In that case there is no problem. But if it is not written, then we may do mistakes. Okay. Now the other precaution concerns the 0 position on the thimble. Okay. So where the 0 is lying, like the 0 position, same thing, uh, is that from which side you are going to read. And when passing the index line on the main scale, there is a chance to read an extra 0.5 mm. This also we have to take care. What is the meaning of this one? What happens sometimes uh, that if you are reaching, let's suppose 48, total 50 are there, you have reached to 48 and you found that there is a line visible. Earlier it was not visible, but as soon as you reached 48, this line has started visible. You are taking the measurement. Okay, this is the anvil and here is the object placed and you are measuring. Clear? And you found that when it was 43, that time this line was not visible, but as soon as 48 it has come, you found that this line has started visible, means it's started showing up. Clear? तो अब आप कौन सा लाइन काउंट करोगे, ये वाला या ये वाला? तो आप देखो जब 43 पे था, है ना, तो ये लाइन विजिबल सिर्फ था, राइट? एंड एज सुन एज इट हैज रीच टू 48, तो ये लाइन विजिबल होने लगा. दैट मीन्स प्रॉब्लम है, some problem is there. Sometimes it happens that this starts visible, showing up before it reaches 50. So that time you need not to count this one. Why? Look at here, without having a complete rotation, this you know this is there are two lines now visible. जैसे आप सोचो, you reached to this point when this line has started visible, started showing up at what time? When here you found 0 and as soon as you crossed 0, this line started showing. ठीक है? अब आप उसको रोटेट कर रहे हो, दिस थिम्बल को रोटेट कर रहे हो, राइट? सो 0, 15, 20, 25, 40, 45, and as soon as you reached 48, this again, this line is, but still it has not completed a full rotation and another line has uh, become visible. What is the meaning of this? That means still we haven't crossed 0.5 mm. Are you getting or not? We haven't crossed 0.5 mm because we haven't completed the one rotation. So sometimes it happens because of the parallax. मतलब आप अगर इधर से देखोगे तो आपको वो दूसरा लाइन भी दिखने लगेगा, तो आप क्या करोगे, इसको भी काउंट कर लोगे, तो इन दैट केस व्हाट विल हैपन, इट विल बी अ मिस्टेक. So that's why we have to be very careful while reading, taking a reading, that we don't take an extra 0.5 mm. Clear or not? Okay, so let us proceed further and we take the reading. And this one we have completed. We have taken reading here. We understood now how to take reading. Look at here. This is an object. With the object we are taking this one. So can you tell me the value? How much is this? So this is 0. This is 1. This is 0.5. This is 1.5. 1.5 mm. Consider it as mm. Okay. So 1.5, after that, which one is coinciding? 26. So 26. What is the least count? So total 50 are there, as you can see from this one. For total 50 divisions, and 0.5 by 50 is 0.01 least count. So it will be 1.5 plus 0.26, which will 1.76. This is the reading. In this case, without object we are finding that this 0 is not coinciding with this line, main line, first of all, and second point, that this line is also not coinciding with this. Okay, with this one there is no issue, है ना, उतना ज़्यादा issue नहीं है, issue इसके साथ है, this 0 and this base line should be coinciding, center line should be coinciding. अगर it is not coinciding, that means there is a 0 error here also. And why this 0 error is happening? Is it a negative or positive? How do we understand? So obviously, when we are rotating this direction towards ourselves and rotating towards the observer, so then we are getting like and here this is anvil and this is spindle, and both are in contact, right? But 0 and 0 are not matching. तो हम पता चल जाएगा कि ये एक एरर है और ये पॉजिटिव एरर है, बिकॉज इट इज गोइंग इन पॉजिटिव डायरेक्शन, राइट. दिस बार इज showing indicating that there is a positive error. This is 0.01, है ना. तो इसका एरर क्या हो गया, पॉजिटिव 0 एरर है. So here in this case 0 error is equal to 0.01. Simply you have to count how many divisions are there, multiply with the least count, you will get the 0. if मान लिए कि आपको ये वाला लाइन coincide कर रहा होता है यहाँ पे, तो क्या हो जाता, 6 into 0.01, that will give you 0.06 mm. So that is the error. But here only first line is coinciding, so that's why that is the error, and that's why the correct reading will be just subtract it 0.01 mm, and it will give you this much. Clear? So this is the correct. See, there are two types of errors. Look at here. In this case, there is no error, no 0 error. Clear? Both are coinciding. But in this case, there is a positive error, right? But in this case, there is a negative error. Why it is negative error? Because this is 0, this is 45, so it's going back. Okay. So this is a negative 0 error. So in case if it, how much negative error? 0 minus 45, 46, 0.46, that is, okay, sorry. So this is 0.5, no, 0.5 that will give you, actually it is 0, not 0, the list value is 0.5, isn't it? So it will give you, this will be 0.5 minus 0.4, that is 0.04 mm, and this is actually negative. Okay, you can understand in this way also, like this is 0, so how much back it is, okay, that much negative it will be. So this is 0 error. So whatever is reading is there, so correct reading will be, correct reading is equal to observed reading, sorry, obtained reading, this will be obtained reading negative minus of 0 error. So minus minus plus, so in the obtained reading it will be added. So negative 0 error is added, positive 0 error is subtracted. If you can remember this one, that is better. That 0 error, negative 0 error is added, it is added, okay, and positive 0 error is subtracted. Clear? So negative error is 0.4 mm, positive error in this case is how much, 0.3 mm. सो आप उसमें से इसको सब्सट्रैक्ट करो और इसको ऐड करो, ये हटा दो, ये थोड़ा कंफ्यूजिंग हो जाता है, isn't it? तो इतना जानने का जरूरत नहीं. प्लीज रिमेंबर दिस वन, 0.4 mm, 0.3 mm, this one is added, this one is subtracted.